Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel, 4x4 Adventures, whatever you like. Anyway, we've got another freebie worth nearly 300 bucks. This might not be for you, but the next prize might, so stay tuned and listen so that you know where you need to be and when to be able to be in the running to win some of these prizes. Now, why the prizes? Well, I've got this thing, I don't collect stuff, so I go around, whether it's the house, whatever property, the workshop, the shed, the car, whatever, and I go through everything kind of regularly. And my rule is, if that hasn't been used in the last 12 months, get rid of it, okay? So there's lots of things that you know you're going to use. Sometimes it's more than 12 months that you can't get rid of, but let's not make it too many. That's the point. Now, I'm not going to use this, okay? So the story behind it, I got this for the 2019 because we know the transmission temperatures were going very high, quite regularly, quite easily, because the torque converter is programmed to not lock up a lot of the time. So it is probably one of the better options on a newer vehicle so that you don't void your warranty. Now, I'm not saying this wouldn't void your warranty, but if it's fitted correctly, it should only help. Where if you were to get a remap and go into the transmission, change your valve bodies and programming, it's more likely that if you had a problem with your transmission, Toyota would say, look, you've voided your warranty because you've changed all that. This, you can demonstrate, you know, usually that it's not going to have caused any issues. So it's the safest while the vehicle's under warranty to help the transmission to stay cooler. So we already know. So look, I got it for that vehicle. I wasn't happy with the transmission shifts, even if it was cooler. I wasn't happy with the power, and I had an opportunity to sell the vehicle because of the, you know, timing, you know, that word with a C ending in a D and there's a 19 and all that. So things went crazy, and they're still crazy, and will continue to do so, record inflation, but that's another story, right? We don't need it for the revised vehicle where they remapped it, when they put the bigger turbo and a few little changes, same engine. It's mainly, I'm going to call it a remap, a tune, whatever you want to call it, right? It's the Toyota remap. It's quite different. We won't go into the engine and the difference too much detail in this video, but the transmission, same transmission, software, chalk and cheese. With this one, in my opinion, my experience, from all my experience with all the different transmissions and monitoring temperatures and the behavior of this transmission, you don't need a cooler. But of course, each to their own. If you want one, you can have one. Here's an opportunity for everybody, right? As I said, 255 bucks on the kaon.com.au website at the moment, about 20 bucks delivery, so there's 275 bucks worth here. This one, KS0096, suits the Prado 150 1GD 2.8. You can get one for the 1KD. I think they're about 20 bucks cheaper actually, 235, kaon.com.au if you want one. Anyway, this one's free. I'm going to get, in a moment, I'm going to spit out some questions. I'm going to give you a little bit more information about these items. Let's have a look exactly what you're going to get, what's included, and sort of what makes up the kit so you know what you're getting. And this is obviously the same if you purchase it from Kaon. If you haven't heard of Kaon, you haven't heard of Kaon? Kaon, there's Kaon there, K-A-O-N, kaon.com.au, Australian company, so all this stuff is Australian designed and manufactured, including the parts they use from Davies Craig. So see here the Davies Craig, made, see it's down there, made in Australia. Now I believe they're probably made by, I think it's a company called PWO. Look at that, can you see that over here? It says on the box anyway, 2-year warranty. That's the part number they use. They've got like a universal kit they come with. Now where's that bag of goodies? There's a bag, here it is. They come with these silly zip tie things, which we've opened and used one to hang it up on the wall as a display for the last little while. But I'm going to include that in the kit, so one of them you're not going to use it anyway. This is for when you zip tie this to a radiator or something like that. It's just a bit of a budget system. It does the job for a lot of vehicles. So that, and I think it comes with a bit of hose and probably some clamps, but I don't know which one's going to be which. So that's going to be in that box, okay? And of course all this stuff, all the brackets that are custom built to suit the vehicle, Australian design and manufacture, and the extra hose so you can do the other end. This isn't a how to fit it video. The clamps are there, the little nuts and bolts to hold the mounting brackets to the cooler itself. I suggest using some Loctite, probably 243 is the number. It's a medium string. It's not going to make it super tight, it's just going to make it so the nuts don't turn on their own. But if you do them up nice and tight, these nuts Kaon provide, they're pretty awesome. They probably won't come up and done if you do them up nice and tight, but Loctite if you can. Right, so there it is. Now, what's the questions you've got to answer? Okay, the things you need to know, or answer the questions, and if you haven't done it or you've had your opportunity, you've been warned about these freebies, you've been warned. So This might not suit you or your vehicle, but there's going to be more coming, because every time I have a clean out or I purchase, I've got this or I've got that. We've got a battery there, we've got a battery competition, we've just sent the shock guards, we've got a rear antenna bracket to go. I'm going to have a clean up. There's other things. I've got a winch fair lead here somewhere as well. But anyway, whatever, right? Freebies, stay tuned on our Facebook pages, mainly Oz Prado crew, Oz Hilux crew, because we're only going to be able to send this stuff in Australia, and some items are pick up only depending on the size and the weight and that sort of thing. And of course, both our YouTube channels, 4x4 Diesel and 4x4 Adventures. So the questions. First one, if there's a really awesome comment that answers the question, it's the first satisfactory answer that I'm happy with. So what I'm going to do, these videos will be posted to this, in this case it's a Prado, so Oz Prado crew, and also the other group, hashtag 1GD Forever crew, because it's specific to that vehicle. I will post this video in those groups, so the people in those groups will get a head start, and about 10 minutes later I will release the video on YouTube. So if you're subscribed with your bell on, you'll get that email or notification, whatever you get on your system, to watch the video, and you'll get these, you'll get the questions, and we'll get there. I'm not in a hurry. See, I'm sort of dragging it out a bit just to be annoying. It is. I'm actually trying to be annoying on purpose. So you need to be patient if you want to get the freebies. So the transcooler, first question: what was my regular highest temperature before it started dropping down again by locking up? So what was happening? I'm driving quite regularly. If we didn't manage the transmission, which we did have to manage it most of the time, and by managing it generally we could keep it under control. But if I just let it go, right? So we had a scan gauge set up there, we did videos, we demonstrated that, we're cruise control on, say, the Calder Highway headed up towards Bendigo, fairly flat ground, slightly uphill, and most people wouldn't know, but the torque converter was slipping in like 5th or 6th gear, whatever the case may be. But there was a consistent temperature throughout all these videos that we demonstrated that the temperature got to when we didn't come in and manage it, when it started dropping again. It started dropping because I think it's probably in the software that it says, when I get to this temperature, I'm going to lock up, as long as the conditions are reasonable, and then the temperature started dropping obviously really quickly, because the cooling from the pan and the coolant at the radiator does a fairly good job as long as you got the torque converter locked. It's really simple. We've explained it in videos. To control the transmission temperature, the only thing that makes heat is the torque converter slipping. If the torque converter is locked, it can't make any heat. It's got air blowing on the pan underneath it, unless you've blocked it with protection and stuff like that, depending what your setup is and what purpose. For those vehicles, you might then need a cooler. Depends how it works for you. You've got to monitor the temp, understand what's happening with your vehicle, and then make a decision for a solution. Okay, so it can't get hotter if it's not slipping. The only way it goes from cold to about 70, 80, 90 degrees is it's warmed up. That's normal operating temperature. That's why they run it through the radiator, to warm it up to operating temperature. Otherwise it's going to run cold for ages. Not good. That's not how it's designed to run, okay? That's why sometimes auto coolers aren't a good idea, and you need a little guard that goes in front of it to block for like winter in Tassie, Melbourne, all the southern states, right, that get colder. You might want to block it so that it can, see, you like that idea? I reckon K-On's got that, and if they haven't, I reckon if they ever see this video, they probably will soon. But I'm pretty sure they've got it for some vehicles. We've mentioned it, but they might not. Maybe it's something people have made themselves. Maybe I've got it all wrong. See, I've got to squeeze all the info in with the questions, right? So the first question, question 1, what temperature was it that regularly it went up to? It was basically the highest temperature we ever saw. But if it went 1 degree higher, don't count that. It's the one that we saw that you would have seen a number of times, for the people that are following, or the people that jumped on it in the last couple of days, where I've been warning about this free auto cooler. The second question is, how many kilometres had the vehicle done, roughly, I mean in round figures, like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, 90,000, you know what I mean? So every 10, don't worry about 91,000 kilometres or 48,000, just to the nearest 10. How many kilometres was the vehicle at? The 2019 1GD we had, the charcoal, the one that did all the trips. Then we came back, there's a hint even, see? And then we took an oil sample. What was the condition of the oil? Now you've got 3, basically, so first thing I want to know, I'm going to make this 2, so there's going to be 3 questions in total. You know the first one, it was, what was the regular highest oil temperature seen? That's the first one. The second one is, how many kilometres was it when we took the oil sample? Okay, that's question 2. How many kilometres? You can answer it, like I said, every 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, whatever. And the question number 3 will be, what was the oil condition like? What was it looking like? It's a multiple choice, this one, okay? So what was the oil condition, the sample, what was it looking like at the time we took the sample? Would you describe it as bad? Would you describe it as good? Or would you describe it as perfect? All right, go. That's it. Bada bing, I'm out of here. Free transmission cooler. It's going to get sent anywhere in Australia. Sorry if you're not in Australia, but you can just keep enjoying the free information and, hey, move to Australia and then we can help you out. Move to Australia, get a Prado. Or you can just keep enjoying the free information. You never know, there might be something for you one day. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit the like button, and tell you what, if you're not subscribed and turn the bell on now, I don't know what's going on. Catch ya.